Hello guys, welcome to the latest episode of Every Platform, and it is about 7:15 in the morning here in Huntly, which is located on the Aberdeen to Inverness Line. This trip today is the Aberdeenshire trip. We're going a little bit beyond Aberdeenshire as well, going across to another county, but for the most part it is Aberdeenshire and a little bit beyond. So just to give you an idea, we're clearing all stations between Aberdeen and Nairn today. So as you see, we've intentionally left out Inverness, but Aberdeen to Nairn, so that line's cleared today. Then we're going to also clear all stations between Aberdeen and Laurencekirk, again intentionally left out Montrose. So it's Laurencekirk, mainly because of timing reasons, but Montrose isn't really Aberdeenshire, so yeah, so that's today's plan. There's going to be a lot of ScotRail services. You will probably also see later on in today's video some LNER services, but generally speaking there won't be till the latter half of this video. So we're going to be on the Aberdeen to Inverness line to begin with, and we start at Huntly, a very nice looking station. We'll talk more about it in a minute. Joining me today is David's Travels.
It's cold up here.
It is very cold. But yeah, it's just us two today on this trip. We're very far north and it is very cold. So, but it needs to be done, so we're doing it. So this is probably the biggest trip I'm doing this year. Next year, obviously, it'll be even bigger than this. But for now, this is the biggest one. So if you do check out any updates on trips and posts, check out my Facebook group. Also check out my Instagram, KTVvids, and my Twitter at KTVvids96. So, without further ado, let's begin today's episode of Every Platform here at Huntly. So I believe the building over here, just to the left here, is an old DB Schenker yard, which is probably not been in use for a very long time now. But obviously the shed still remains standing, but it's been out of use for a long time, I think. It's either that one, said there was something adjacent to the station, but I think it must be that one over there. But yeah, that's Huntly. The general service pattern around here is one train every 2 hours, but this time of morning you can get hourly, but then it goes to every 2 hours during the day, which we'll see soon enough when we're at other stations today. But yeah, that is Huntly station all done. A very nice station. Station building's a pretty nice little building. It's really nice. But it's got your basic facilities. It's got the train plant pot over there, bit vintage that. And yeah, that is basically that one. Sorry about that. So I have an alarm that's set as 7:30 every day because I left it on for ages and I haven't switched it off. It's like a yeah, it's just a long-standing alarm. I just keep it going. So yeah, it just went off. Anyway, because it is now 7:30. So yeah, the next stop for us is going to be Inch, and we're going to head over to that side. We're just going to wait for the train to come in, because the train we're getting is the 0747 Aberdeen service, which starts here at Huntly. You'll see what it is in a minute. Okay, now arriving is going to be our train, the 0747 ScotRail service, starting here at Huntly to Aberdeen. And this one's coming in as an ECS move. And for those who aren't clued up with the railway, ECS stands for empty coaching stock, but hopefully everyone knows that. It's 158718. Carriage number should say the other one. It does. It's 158719, numerical order. And we're going to take this to Inch. I'll update you when we get there. That is Huntly done. Right, now arrived into Inch station. And we're going to see the 158s head out in just a moment. So there goes 158, 718 and 719 heading out to Aberdeen from Huntly. So welcome to the next station on the plan today, which is Inch Station. And this station, oh my god, looks quite nice. It's very scenic. This station is the first one after you get off the main sort of Aberdeen to Inverness line, where it's a bit more frequent, and this is the first station where it starts to be infrequent. So when I say infrequent, the next station before Inch going towards Aberdeen is Inverurie, and that station actually gets a better service because you get the services to Montrose that start there as well. So yeah, there's a bit more there than there is on this line. So this is the first one that has that infrequency. It's also worth noting that Inch is on record the least used station in Aberdeenshire. It's also the least used station on the entire line between Aberdeen and Inverness. So, but that's not saying much, considering that in 2020-2021 this station had just over 11,000 passenger entries and exits. So to say that's the least used station isn't a bad thing. But 11,000, yeah, it's not great, but there's a lot worse out there, let's say that, especially over the COVID pandemic when literally some had 0. We'll talk about them another time. But yeah, Inch Station is, excuse the pun, inch perfect. So one fact about Inch to show you as well is it's actually connected with a museum called the Inch Connection Museum, which is basically a mini railway museum talking about the history of the railway in Inch. So talking about when it was opened and basically the history of the station. So yeah, that is part of the station building. Actually, it's built in, not open at the moment because it's quite early in the morning. So but yeah, nice retro sign or vintage sign there. Rusting away quite a bit though, and yeah, you just go in this way. So that is basically Inch Station in a nutshell. The station also has a level crossing, which oddly is a diagonal sort of shape. So you cross sort of diagonally across the railway instead of just going straight. You go diagonally. So yeah, I guess you go straight in some way, but when you look at it from the platform, it's not really straight. It's very noisy around there. I think they're cutting some trees down. Yeah, Transport Hub 1's under attack. Anyway, sorry Drew. Let's head to the next station then in a bit, which will be it's going to be a very funny name for the station, Keith. Keith. We're going to go visit Keith. Right, Keith, how you doing, Keith? Right, Keith. Right, Keith.
Keith Lemon.
How are you, Keith?
I'm good.
Good. Nice to see you, Keith. Have a good day, Keith. So, found the waiting room for the station. It's meant to be padlocked, but isn't, and the station isn't. It's probably kept an eye on by the signalling staff in the signal box over there, next to the level crossing. By the way, that is also over there. As you go in, it just looks like a barn inside. So, but it's got your seats and a bin. That's about it. And David's travels. And a clock, actually. So you know what time it is, which seems about right. But yeah, it's quite warm in here though, so it does the job, keeps you warm. But yeah, there's not much here. It does look like a barn though, but there we go. Okay, arriving in now is the 0859 ScotRail service from Inverness to Aberdeen, which is 158701. Won't be seeing this one go out because R1 is coming in literally at the same time and leaving at the same time, so I'll wait for that one to come in. Right, here is 158707. And this will be our train to take us to Keith, and we'll update you soon. which is going to be Keith. We're into single platform territory now. Update you in a minute. So there goes the 0930 ScotRail service from Aberdeen to Inverness. Sounding very nice as it goes. So welcome to Keith station. Now, as I just said, as we got off, we are now in single platform territory. This station again looks very nice, and the sun is out, and actually, for a change, in an area like this, it's actually starting to feel a bit warm. Surprisingly. Yeah, there's the relief from David there. So so this station, similar station building to that of Huntly, looks a little bit older, but not much difference in that. It certainly has a lot more surroundings because this station is within its town centre, same as Inch was, but Inch town centre literally has nothing. Huntly's again doesn't have much, but has a bus connection, same as Keith does. So yeah, more facts about the station will come soon, but yeah, this is Keith. Right, so first thing to note is when I said to you at the beginning of the video we have crossed counties, we will do so in this video. Keith is the first station in which we have done so, which is in the county of Moray, which is I'd say it's not too far from the border to Aberdeenshire, but yeah, we're in Moray. So yes, that is where we are at the moment. We're going to go further into Moray as we head towards Nairn, as we've still got Elgin, Forres and Nairn stations to go, but they'll be later on in the video. Right, so facts about this station. So Keith station used to have a second one called Keith Town, which was on what's known as the Dufftown branch. Now the Dufftown branch has been closed for a long time, as you can probably imagine. But however, the interesting thing about the line that leads over to it is it is very, very, very rarely used as a turning point for trains to Aberdeen. So if, for example, a train came from Aberdeen and got cancelled, and they could in theory terminate it here and use what is the old Dufftown branch to turn back, essentially to move out the way if there's any other trains or anything, but they can use it as a turning point. There are also proposals to open a second platform here, which is just north, so a little bit just sort of down there, I'd imagine. I think that's north. Yeah. You can tell I don't know my directions very well. Either way, anyway, just north of the station. And they were also going to, so they were going to open another platform, and they're also going to improve the facilities here, including having a bus interchange, a taxi rank, which kind of they already do, is just a little drop-off point, and basically like just general facilities like improving the car parking, and yeah, just doing all of that to improve the overall stuff at this station. Never ever been any calls to reopen the Dufftown branch, but yeah, that is Keith in a nutshell. The station building got refurbished in 1988 and was back then for a substantial amount of money, equivalent to what would probably be about 450k today, was costed about 150-250k back in the 80s. So it was a lot of money back then compared to what it is now. So, although it's still a lot of money now. But yeah, so that is Keith station. We were going to see a 10:13 Aberdeen service, but unfortunately, because we need to catch a bus to Elgin, we don't have time to see it because the bus leaves. We'd miss it if we stayed here for it. So yeah, another one of the train flower pots as well, spotting them all around everywhere. So yeah, that's Keith. Next stop for us is Elgin. So this is the Dufftown branch platform, which is used, which like I said is very rarely used for trains turning back. So when trains will terminate here, or if they're just turning back on for another reason, then let's say a train terminates over at Huntly, let's say, it could easily come up here to Keith. It's a good half an hour away, but still could come up here. Or even if it terminates at Keith, it could go out and come back and come in here and wait if there is any trains that are due through. But like I said, no trains are scheduled to do so in the current timetable, but if they did, they would do this. So yeah, but that is the old Dufftown branch platform, which is now disused completely. So yeah, I believe it's preserved as well, but doesn't look it. Right then, so we have now reached Elgin station, another small station building. As you approach in, we just got off the 10 bus, which, if you don't know, is the Stagecoach Distance Highland service operated by Stagecoach Bluebird that runs between Aberdeen and Inverness. But there's also smaller sections that are run by sort of, you know, your regular buses like E200 MMCs and E400s, which is usually between Aberdeen and Inverurie and Elgin and Inverness. So yes, they can also do other little bits, but generally it's the Plaxton Elites do the whole thing, Aberdeen to Inverness, whilst then the others do the small sections just to add more services, I guess. Right, so this is Elgin. So fun fact about this station is this station actually gets quite a lot of peak time services terminate here from Inverness. So they don't come from Aberdeen to Elgin, they go from Inverness to Elgin, and it's usually as far as here. So this is a terminus point. More facts about the station coming, but yes, another plant pot over there in the distance. Spotting all of these now, and this is probably the most I don't know what the station probably with the most civilization next to it, let's just say that, considering that Huntly, Inch and Keith didn't really have much around it. This one does have loads. Has an Asda one side, a Lidl another, and then yeah, it just looks a bit busier. So yeah, I'll update you soon. Right, so fact time about this station. So 2014, this station was closed for 10 days whilst they did basically an improvement to the track. So they created a loop which was around the Elgin, well, a loop around here, as well as improving the signals. As we can see down there, they have improved the signals a lot. They actually closed this between Elgin and Keith whilst they actually did that. They improved the signals by just making them better, because obviously the service pattern's different here. But yeah, overall it was just an improvement to how this station looks, because, you know, on this line Elgin's probably one of the most populated towns. So yeah, it's interesting though. What I can say though is that is the fact about the station, is it has probably been the most looked after station in terms of refurbishment work on this line, really, let's say. So yeah, track improvements, signal improvements. Haven't done that with some of the others, have they?
Yeah.
So yeah. Right, so our next station is going to be Forres, so we'll update you when we get there. 11:40 Inverness service will be ours, and guess what? It's another 158. Okay, arriving in now is the 11:40 ScotRail service to Inverness from Aberdeen. This is going to be our train to take us to Forres. It's a very busy platform. it is, as I predicted, 158701.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll update you when we get to Forres. Okay, we now made it into Forres, and we'll update you in a minute. Right, there goes the 1154 ScotRail service to Inverness, calling it Nairn and Inverness. We're getting ever closer to where we need to be today. This is Forres station. As far as I know, it's pronounced Forres, but I know some people pronounce it Forres, but it's Forres. That's how you pronounce it. Looks very new. It's not new, but it looks like it's gone through probably one of the biggest refurbishments on this line I've seen so far. Very, very quiet here.
Yeah.
And again, we're sort of almost in the middle of nowhere. We seem to be right next to a main road. But yeah, seems very quiet here. I'll update you in a minute, and yeah, go from there. So this one again, the subject of a big debate that was created by Transport Scotland, and this actually went via the Scottish Government as well, because they actually want to re-site this station and completely close this one and move it somewhere else. As long as you don't do a Patrick Star and suggest that you take Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else. You know, you can't push this station, I mean, it's in the ground, but you could build a new one and close this one, which is exactly what they're thinking of doing, because they want to make it serve the town a bit better, more central, I suppose, because at the moment it doesn't. As far as I know, it's right next to the A96 road, I think it is.
Yeah.
I would think it's that anyway. I think I just saw that, but I could be wrong there actually. But yeah, it's the same pattern. It's a roughly hourly service here if you include the Elgin services in there. But towards Aberdeen, like I say, every 2 hours. But yeah, that is Forres station. A lot of them have got a bit of modern history with having changes made to them, but the only change that hasn't been made is the improvement to service. But we knew that already. To be fair, I don't. It could do with hourly, but it's not always easy when the line's so long and the journey's quite long. So anyway, so next stop for us is the final stop on the Aberdeen to Inverness line that we need before we head back. Well, not the final stop, but it's the final one on the infrequent stretch is Nairn. So we're going to get a bus there. We'll update you soon. Right, we're now here at Nairn station. Very old station building, look at that. Really nice. Just heard a horn for a train. It's not going to be ours because ours is at 1300, so it must be for something else. There's a coffee shop on the station as well, Nairn does. Whether it's open or not is a different question.
Interesting station.
So here's Nairn station. Very nice view down the platform on either end basically. There is an approaching train. It looks like a 158. So yeah, we'll see that one in a minute. But yeah, this is Nairn station. So you know we've done that episode of like rusty or murky subways. How about a rusty footbridge?
That takes you back.
It's a bit of an equivalent. Footbridge is in a right state. Look at it.
I feel so much taller on it.
I don't feel very secure on it. Oh no, hello. That's a 170. So yeah, there's a 170 coming, heading for Inverness. Here we are on the So yes, here, unless they've done a swap. It is. This 170 is our train. I thought we had a 158. We don't. We have a 170 taking us back to Kintore. I'll take that. So, sorry the clip at Nairn is a bit short. Would have been a little bit longer, but had to find our way here and kind of took a wrong turn at one point. But oh well, it happens. And we have 170 394 heading for Aberdeen. So we've got a little bit of time, so I'm going to do a couple of facts and then we're going to get on the train. So with any station, I always like to talk about cultural references. Biggest one with Nairn is that in a 70s film, I think it came out in 1970, called The Life of Sherlock Holmes, featured this station, but they actually called it Inverness. They didn't call it Nairn, because everyone knows the city of Inverness. But I guess they just used Nairn as Inverness. So Nairn-Verness, should we just do that? Might as well. Anyway, other than that, the station has a flower shop on there, which is nice. I think it also doubles as a cafe. It is 128 miles from Perth, and control of the signalling here is actually at Inverness, so it's not actually anywhere near here, it's at Inverness. So yeah, that's Nairn station. Like I said, I'm sorry it's so abrupt. We've got to get on this 117. The next stop for us is Kintore. We're going back towards the line between Aberdeen and Inverurie now to get a more frequent service. This line has been complete from Inch to Nairn. I'm very happy about that. Update you when we get to Kintore. So we're now here at Kintore station. That was about a 90-minute journey we just had from Nairn to Kintore, but we're now back near Aberdeen. So yes, as you saw, the video started in Huntly, so but we're now here at Aberdeen. Would you also be amazed to know, but I'll tell you in a minute actually about this. And there goes 170-394, and that's heading over to Aberdeen, calling now at Dyce and Aberdeen. So welcome to one of Scotland's newest railway stations. This is Kintore. This station closed in 1964 and was reopened on a completely different site in 2020, October 2020. So the very first thing to note about this station is that our train to Inverurie has been cancelled due to a train fault.
Has it?
Yeah, the 1453 has been cancelled.
Ah.
That was our train to Inverurie. So it's time to make an alternative plan.
Right.
But in that meantime, this is Kintore. The surrounding area, it's kind of, there's not much to it. So like a lot of new stations, the station's basically in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, you notice that with this. But yeah, our train has indeed been cancelled. So it is now a question of what we do next. It is probably likely that something towards the end of the video will be left out, but that is to be decided. For now though, we will make do with what we have and make an alternative plan which should work. But yeah, this is Kintore. Okay, so just to let you guys know the alternative plan, the good news is the day isn't impacted whatsoever. what's basically going to happen is actually it's allowed us to get another bus. So so kind of a win there more than it is a loss. By the way, look at the view over there. Lots of farmland.
Look at the horses.
There's some oh yeah, some horses. Hopefully you're not playing in the Grand National.
He looks beaten up to be fair.
Yeah, so there's a lot of green land over here, farmland. Probably don't set foot on there because you never know what will happen. Might get chased by those horses. Probably not. Or actually, if there are a bunch of tractors here and you've watched Cars, you could get a very angry combine harvester come out the trees coming to get you, and his name could be Frank.
I have a pun.
Go on.
Hey there.
Hey there. Yeah, great. Anyway, so we're going to get the bus to Inverurie, so that'll be the next stop. It's actually going to be operated by a 350H. Never ever been on one before, so that'll be interesting.
Me neither.
And they only seem to run around here, which is, well, they maybe run other places,
Yeah.
but I've only ever seen it here. So we're going to get that 350H over to Inverurie. When we get there, we're then going to go from Inverurie back to Dyce, then get another bus to Aberdeen. So yeah, update you soon, I guess. Okay, arriving in now is going to be the 1456 ScotRail service from Inverurie to Montrose. Just to show that there is more services here. The Montrose services do serve this line and make it a bit better. 158718. We saw this one earlier actually. This is actually paired with 719. It's the one we got at Huntley, if you remember. Here it is again. See it go out in a moment. So there goes that service heading over to Montrose via Aberdeen from Inverurie. So that's the 1456 service. Obviously the 1453 was meant to be here, but we know that's been cancelled due to a train fault. So yes, otherwise we would have been on that train. Right, off we go now, and we're going to head to Inverurie, and we'll update you when we get there. Okay, so we have now reached Inverurie station. This is the terminus for the services from Montrose, and generally all services towards Inverness will call here as well. I think every train that comes through here calls here, but that's basically the case with all stations around here. So there's a coffee house right next to it. The station building again, fairly old, so quite nice. We enter in this way into Inverurie. You will see
Whoa!
a very nice looking station with what looks to be through tracks that used to be around here. So yeah, this station is really nice. The footbridge is in a bit of it's basically the centre of the platform almost. Well, maybe not the centre, but it's certainly a fair way into the station. Normally have them at the end. So anyway, so our train will be the 1548 service to Montrose. The train's probably up at the siding at the moment waiting to come in, so we'll head over to the side for our platform and go from there. This is Inverurie. Right, here comes said service. It's just coming on an ECS from the siding after terminating in from Aberdeen. It is 170. Oh, guess what? It's 394 again.
Ah.
Hello again. So this is our train to Dyce.
Oh, no way. That's not big.
I guess I'll update you in a minute. So, interesting facts about this station. This station is basically At Inverurie you get 2 departures an hour to Aberdeen at least. One of them will be the Montrose, and the other one will be a service from Inverness to Aberdeen, generally speaking. Or no, 2 departures. No, there might also be other local services as well. Generally speaking though, you do get at least 1 train an hour, but it's part of what's known as the Aberdeen Crossrail, which basically connects both sides of Aberdeen's railway. So this side towards Inverurie and the other side towards Montrose, to get central in Aberdeen. Now the reason for that is also because there are stations like Monteith and Carnoustie. Monteith? No, sorry, Carnoustie and Laurencekirk, which aren't served as much. Monteith's a different one. I meant Carnoustie and Laurencekirk. They're not served as much, but they are now served hourly generally by the Montrose services, so it's a lot better. The problem with this line, I think it was also redoubled in 2019 as well, to allow for more services and upgrades. So yeah, Inverurie is a big part of that. There's not much other facts about the station. It's got a little bit of history with an old goods yard which was closed to freight in the 60s, but it used to be an old branch line from what I know of. I definitely know it was closed to freight in the 60s, so yeah, that's one thing to note. Like I said, it's got a nice little cafe, which probably by now will start to close because the ticket office is closed. But yeah, that is Inverurie in a nutshell. And there's a garden centre right outside of it. To add to the notable things that are right outside the railway station, add a garden centre to it. So we're now going to head to Dyce, next station. I'll update you soon. Right, now arriving to Dyce. It's a big gap. So yeah, here we are. This is Dyce station. Getting closer to Aberdeen now. This is the first station you get to once you leave it. And we'll watch 173.94 head out in just a moment. Right, the partner now is going to be 1605 ScotRail service to Montrose from Inverurie. So there goes 173.94. So this is Dyce station. Here you change for Aberdeen Airport. So this is the nearest station to the airport. You can hear the planes take off from here whenever they do, which at Aberdeen Airport isn't too often.
Yeah.
I mean, David here will be able to tell you how frequently it leaves Aberdeen, I presume.
There's only about a few hours until about 6, maybe 4.
Yeah. So
Very infrequent.
So it's not great. What's the most frequent airport in Scotland?
Probably Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Fair enough then. Not Glasgow?
No, I've seen less at Glasgow.
Fair enough then. Right, so that's Dyce station. I'll update you more very soon. And another train to arrive is the 1609 ScotRail service to Inverurie from Montrose. This one is 174.06. No, 408. And there's a plane taking off right over there as well at the very same time, which you might be able to see. Yeah, you probably can see that. So yeah, train and plane, nice combination. So there goes 17408 there, heading out on the 1609 ScotRail service to Inverurie from Montrose. And as you can see on your left there, there's a LNER plane over there. I'm not very good at identifying planes, so please don't shoot me down. But yes, I flew a LNER once, Exeter to Edinburgh. That was alright. Does the job, and it's only a short flight, so yeah, update you soon. Okay, so fact time about this station. So as you know, this station is the nearest station to Aberdeen Airport. However, planes can be seen taking off from the platform. However, Aberdeen Airport is actually on the other side of the runway. This station doesn't have a direct link. Would you believe that? No direct link between here and Aberdeen Airport.
That's
The
crazy.
actual direct links between to Aberdeen Airport are actually at Aberdeen. So there used to be a stagecoach bus that used to run, I think it was number 80, that ran from here to Aberdeen, but it was discontinued because the passenger numbers were too low. So however, now Stagecoach do a 727, which I got yesterday, and is operated by E400 EVs, going out to Aberdeen Airport, which takes about half an hour. And then First Aberdeen also do the X27, which also goes to Aberdeen, serves the heliports, and the P&J Live, which is an arena, which is sort of near to all the hotels and business parks and everything. So yeah, so quite oddly, the station is the nearest station you can change here for Aberdeen Airport, but technically you can't. It's really weird, because there's no like buses that link you up, so you'd have to walk it or work it out yourself. It's one of those really weird places that is advertised as a connection that doesn't necessarily have a connection. So yeah, Aberdeen is the connection for Aberdeen Airport. If anyone is going from Aberdeen Airport, change at Aberdeen, don't change here. I almost made that mistake yesterday, but then I looked it up and did some research a couple of days before and realised Aberdeen was the direct bus link, so I just got off at Aberdeen.
This is a safety announcement.
So, update you soon. The next stop for us is Aberdeen. We'll update you when we get there. Right, so we have now made it to Aberdeen station. After basically starting the day on the Aberdeen Inverness Line, we're now in Aberdeen. And you'll see the entrance of the station now. So, there's a big entrance for Aberdeen. There's Union Square, the big shopping centre. Union Square bus station is just down the road, literally around the corner. As you sort of turn around there and turn right, you've got Union Square bus station. And then in here you've got Aberdeen station. There's the big entrance-ish. You actually access it a different way, which we're going to show you now. You don't actually go in through there. You go in this way, through actual Union Square. So it's another one of those stations in a shopping centre. So as we go through, you'll see there's all these different shops here. Perfume shop, Yo Sushi at the top, Pandora, you know, the sports stuff, Acosta. Oh. Sorry folks, camera at a moment. We're going in this way. So maybe split up into a couple of clips, so apologies for that. But yeah, as you go in here, here's Aberdeen. Okay, so yeah, this is Aberdeen station. Sorry about that guys, the clips were cutting out really annoyingly, but there we are. So this is Aberdeen station. So this is the terminus for most services. They do have a please wait thing here, so they allocate a platform, but you can kind of work out where everything is. So yeah, Aberdeen also is a terminus point for two other TOCs, well three actually, LNER, Cross Country and Caledonian Sleeper. They all terminate here, as well as ScotRail do from Edinburgh, Glasgow, Queen Street, and also from the other side from Inverness and Inverurie, and also obviously Inverurie to Montrose comes through here. So yes, all of that. There are also short services to Stonehaven and Montrose that start here as peak time extras, but this is the main concourse area. right next to Union Square. But this station's magnificent, and I really like Aberdeen because of how magnificent it actually is. So yeah, oddly enough, one ticket machine just stood out there. I think there's one on either side, but yeah, there we go. It's probably more somewhere.
There's 3 170s, one Azuma.
3 170s and 1 LNER Azuma. There we go. Right, let's pop in and see what it's about. Our train is the 1748 service to Montrose. So we're going to get on that one, but we'll update you soon. Right, so we're on Aberdeen's platforms now. So to give you an idea, this station has 7 platforms, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 obviously, but 6 and 7 are different, and I bet you're wondering how they're different. So as you may know, if you know Aberdeen well enough, there are 2 bits of platform 6 and 7, which are platform 6S, platform 7S, platform 6N and platform 7N. The S is 6 south, so anything going that way, and the 6N and 7N are north. So trains will use 7N and 6N when they're going towards Inverness and Inverurie, that sort of direction, and they'll use 6S and 7S when they're going towards Montrose and onwards towards Edinburgh, Glasgow and anywhere else. Generally what seems to call at those are through services, so Montrose to Inverurie for example will call it on that one. So say it comes from Montrose and goes to Inverurie, it'll go through and use 6N or 7N. And if it comes from Inverurie to go to Montrose, it'll use 6S or 7S. Sometimes they just use N just to stop any sort of blockages, but you know, just in case something needs to come into S for any reason. But
now approaching platform 3 is the 1728 ScotRail service to Montrose. This train is formed of 2 carriages.
And that's also the dumb thing about Aberdeen, is they say the train now approaching, but funnily enough, the train's there. It's 158707 and it's got no driver.
So apparently approaching as well.
Yeah, but you can't approach when it's already here. So there we go. You should say the train at platform 3, but guess what? It's not even here. So there was an LNER service which has disappeared. LNER are diverting like Carlisle this weekend, so yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, without rambling on, that is Aberdeen in a nutshell. So we'll update you more soon. Something also to note is the depot next to you, the depot you see over here, is Clayhill's depot. Now LNER use this, Caledonian Sleeper use it to store their trains when they don't use them. That is to allow space here at Aberdeen for other trains that are operated by ScotRail to come in. As far as I'm aware, Cross Country never use Clayhill's. Cross Country will always go back to Edinburgh at least, but they don't think they ever use Clayhill's. They may do in that emergency, but generally speaking they don't. So yes. Right over there, as you can probably just about see, is an LNER Azuma, which is still on the move actually. It's coming into Aberdeen Clayhills at the moment to stable over. I personally would imagine that this service will only go as far as somewhere like Newcastle if it does form another service, which will probably be around 6ish, because normally it goes to Leeds. I reckon it will go to Newcastle this time around anyway. But there it is anyway, the LNER service. It terminated earlier at about it was about 5:10 from London King's Cross, and it is 800 108. And also the 1728 to Montrose is now departing after finally finding a driver. Yeah, it's gonna go for a wash. Look at that. Washing an Azuma.
Never seen this before.
No matter how much you wash that thing, it will still be uncomfortable inside. Maybe add some cushions while you're washing that thing. Well, that's going for a full-on wash, that one is.
Yeah.
Bath time.
I've never seen a live train wash.
Well, you've just seen it, and so is everyone else who's watching this video.
Epic.
A live train wash just for you.
Wow.
Anyway, that's not the most entertaining thing anyway. There it is, 802, 802, I'm thinking GWR, 800 108. We'll update you soon, because we've got another train leaving shortly. Okay, we've got another 158 approaching, which is going to Inverurie from Montrose. It is 158 718 again, third time today. Also rammed full, but that's no surprise. As the LNER has had its wash and will now sit there all night. Believe me, it will. It's going to be there all night now because it's not doing another service. I've checked, probably because of the diverts that are on. Otherwise, it probably would. So yes, that Inverurie one is crossing over the tracks and going on to 6N. So yes. Right, departing out now is what is probably going to be the biggest, most offensive service you're ever going to see in your entire life. Maybe not. It is the 1741 service to Glasgow Queen Street. You heard that correct. Glasgow Queen Street. And it is a 158 on its own. Two cars, 158 733. ScotRail actually did that and put right. I'm just gonna remind you guys of something. ScotRail did that and put 17411 on a Montrose service.
And that was dirty.
It's dirty, but it's also slightly more suitable. Not fully, but it's more what they've been doing for the last like 10 years of having 170, well, longer than that. They've been having them for ages.
Yeah.
And yeah, oh well, it happens. Probably some reason behind it, but that's crazy. It's going to get rammed. Right, off to Stonehaven next. Right, it's now time for 17411, the one that David very correctly said is filthy on one carriage. We're taking this to Stonehaven. We'll update you soon. Right, we now made it to Stonehaven, and 17411 will be heading out in a moment, so we'll update you in a minute. So there goes 17411 heading out on. I can smell. Yeah, no, you got that 170 smell, haven't you? It's the 1813 ScotRail service to Montrose from Aberdeen, that one. So yeah, welcome to Stonehaven. So I think it's pretty obvious the fact about this station that we're going to talk about. So back in 2020, as you guys know, there was a very sad and tragic accident that happened near Stonehaven, which was the Stonehaven rail crash involving a HST. Just to give the brief story, there was a landslip on the platform that heads south, in the track that heads south, and the signaller advised the driver to go on the northbound track and proceed with, proceed. They did, and very tragically didn't realise the landslip also reached onto that northbound track, and it caused a fatal accident. 3 people, unfortunately, very sadly, were killed, including the driver, guard and 1 passenger, which is really sad. It's one of those events you look at and especially us as younger people, we look at it as a modern day accident that we live to remember. A lot of people who watch this and maybe of the older generation will remember a lot more accidents, probably most notably the one I had when one I remember from when not long before or after I was born was the Ladbroke Grove crash. There was obviously that one, but that one I remember. I don't really remember it, but I know it was around my era, so of when I was born. So yeah, there's a lot of sad times, but this one we grew up remembering. So yeah, as a little tribute, we will remember, of course, always the victims of that horrible crash, and hope that in the future, and as time goes on, which it has, that things like that are more noticed. It's very hard around here, I know, because the weather can be so extreme, and there can be mist, there can be fog, there can be extreme rain, there can be snow, there can be everything, and it can really hit up here, so it's very tough. But it's all about investing money to improve it all. So yeah, yeah, so Stonehaven serves LNER, cross country and ScotRail, and we'll see what comes through soon. So just adding on to what we said about the Stonehaven crash, here is a plaque that's dedicated to the memories of Donald Dinny, Brett McCulloch and Christopher Stogbury, who lost their lives in a derailment at Carmont, which by the way is southwest of this station, on 12th of August 2020. So it was a year on, so 12th of August 2021 they brought that plaque out. So yeah, I also forgot to say Caledonian sleepers stop here. So yes, but yeah, that is Stonehaven in a nutshell for you guys. So the next station we're going to, so I just want to correct something. I said Carnoustie earlier. Carnoustie's in between Dundee and Arbroath. So is Montefief. It's actually Portlethen and Laurencekirk, which Portlethen is where we're going next. So we're going to update you on our train arrives. Let's talk about this. And just up here is a B-listed signal box, which we walk past it in a minute, you'll see. This one is 40 lever signal box, so very well, not very complex, but 40 levers, my god, imagine operating that. So that's the one there, that's the signal box, which looks quite old, very nice. Yeah, so I really like Stonehaven. It's one of those peaceful stations, yeah, this is what I like about this area of Scotland. When you get higher up, the stations get so nice, and it's not just Scotland where you see this, it's Wales as well, and parts of England. So yeah, that's Stonehaven. Clips keep coming at this station. So here's the inside of Stonehaven, but I found another one of these. We found this at Inverurie when we did the Fife trip, but another one of these Caledonian sleeper screens. You'll find these a lot on the West Highlands, which is going to be a video at some point in the future. We'll see a lot of these and we'll look out for them. But yeah, literally if you press on it, it does absolutely nothing. So okay then, what's a rip-off? Anyway, right, down we go through partly murky subway, and I'm going to head to Portlethen now. I'll update you soon. Right, here is 17394, the 1837 ScotRail service to Inverurie from Montrose. Apologies for the late start to the clip there, but yeah, we're going to head off to Portlethen now. I'll update you when we get there. Oh, sorry about the camera. When we get there. Look. Right, here we are at Portlethen. We'll update you in a minute when this one leaves. Price of the pint out there was 173.94. Heading out on the 1846 ScotRail service to Inverurie from Montrose. Welcome to the town of Portlethen. This is the first station when you go south from Aberdeen. It's the first one you reach is Portlethen, and this station is tiny.
Yeah.
But it has a very nice view. So nice, in fact, we might see a passing HST shortly. By the way, that is actually true, we will see one. This station is really an Inverurie Montrose stopping station. Hourly service generally. But the Glasgow and Edinburghs do stop here on morning and evening time. So yes, nothing else stops at Portlethen other than those. Generally though, during the day it's Inverurie Montrose that stops here. The improved hourly service. So I'll update you soon. This is Portlethen. Right, passing now is the service to Glasgow Queen Street from Aberdeen. Well, the front of it was 43,147. The rear of it I didn't get, but there it goes anyway. Oh my god, what a pass. And here comes said HST heading to Aberdeen from Edinburgh. (43,031) and 43,163, the ex-Visit Plymouth one. Oh, so many memories of GWR HSTs. Great two-tone from the driver as well. Did you wave?
Oh.
He just did it then. Nice one. Thanks very much. Well, they just did it, sorry, assume genders. Right, next stop and final stop of the day for us is Laurencekirk. We're going to go back to Stonehaven now. You guessed it, by bus.
Yeah.
Update you soon. Okay, arriving in now. We're back here at Stonehaven, by the way. But arriving in now is the slightly delayed 1948 ScotRail service from Edinburgh to Aberdeen, formed of a HST. Now obviously it's going to be brighter lights now because we are approaching winter, so things get darker a lot earlier. We have on it 43,037. I thought it was a 1, it's 037. And we'll see this one go out in a minute. Right upon now is going to be the 1948 ScotRail service to Aberdeen. Can't see it all too well, but on the rear is 43,177 as it goes off into the darkness. Smell the HST flag, lovely. Can't get enough of that. Right, next up, update you in a minute. Right, arriving in now is 17411 again. The 2001 service from Montrose to Aberdeen. There is that one. We're gonna stay here for one reason, and you're gonna see it in a minute. Right, going out now is the service to Aberdeen. Alright, don't give it away. Bloody hell. David is trying to spoil it for you all. But it's pretty obvious what exactly we're waiting for.
Oh, that's another one.
But in what manner are we waiting for it for?
That was another 170.
You're going to see.
170 flag.
What's just the general rule of thumb with this particular train that's going to happen? Oh, do you know what? I'm spoiling it too much. Here it bloody comes. It's a ScotRail service from Aberdeen to Glasgow Queen Street, 43031 and 163 again with tones. That's twice now, Portlethen and here. Happy days. Guess what, guys? It's another HST. 43146.
Hi.
Is that a tone or a squeak? I think that's an interesting noise. It's ricketing its way in. And what's on the rear? Oh, 183 actually. I looked on real-time trains. This is the 2011 ScotRail service from Glasgow Queen Street to Aberdeen. And we'll see it go out uno momento. Right, back to the part now will be the 2011 ScotRail service to Aberdeen, calling it Aberdeen only. And something I didn't tell you is this is branded Inter7 City, and even on the departure boards, they don't even say a ScotRail service, it says an Inter7 City service.
I love it.
They take pride in their HST fleet, and I absolutely love that.
Even the horns, like the drivers are just insane.
If there was one TOC that took pride in their HSTs, it was ScotRail.
Yes.
Right. Off that one goes to Aberdeen. I reckon by the time we get back, we're going to see a multitude of HSTs.
Yeah, even
Just an inkling. Anyway, so that 1948 Aberdeen service, by the way, from Edinburgh, that service was my service yesterday. So I've been back here and saw the service that departed Stonehaven to Aberdeen exactly 24 hours after mine.
And also mine.
And also yours. Well, yours is a bit later.
Yes.
But yeah. Right, onwards now to... Oh, actually, good timing. Here it is.
Oh.
This is the 2014 ScotRail service to Montrose, and we're taking it to the final station of the day, Laurencekirk. Let's stay on the camera because we are going to see it coming anyway. It is 170. Oh, it's... what is it going to be? 394 again.
Oh my god.
Okay, right, update you when we get there. Right, we're off 170 394 again, and we're now at the final station of today, Laurencekirk. Oh my god, the station building looks really nice.
Wow.
Right, we're going to watch 170 394 once again depart for about the 5th time today, it feels like. Probably a bit of an exaggeration. So welcome to the final station of every platform, Aberdeenshire / Moray. Whatever you say it. Oh, do you know what? I forgot already. Anyway, so Moray, sorry, Moray. Going mad. It's Laurencekirk. Here we are. The final station of today's plan, which we'll review shortly. But this station is served by Inverurie to Montrose services, and it's the same basically as Portlethen. There's no difference, except this station looks really nice. Like, there's a lot of community work that's been done around here, as you can see. Lord Gardenstone's plan of Laurencekirk. So this is how it was founded. So obviously steam train, farm animals, tractors. Feel like I'm back home, to be honest, as me being a proper janner anyway. But yeah, it's a Very historic little station. But yes. So to give you a review, I actually want to tell you a very fun fact. There was one time, and for those who remember this a few years ago, there was one time a cross-country service got disrupted quite badly. Do you want to know what it did? It terminated here.
Oh.
So it went from Plymouth to Laurencekirk. As cross-country never, ever, ever stopped here. That was weird. They did a turnaround, and then we went from there. That was the plan of Laurencekirk. That's what happened anyway. Anyway, that's the one thing I know about this station that just stands out. But what we're going to do now, we're going to see a couple of trains come through. We'll go from there. So, fun fact, Laurencekirk is another new station. This one opened in 2009 after being closed since 1967. It was reopened again, like Kintore, was opened on a new site. So, yes. So there is a crossover at the north end of the station, which can be used to facilitate any trains that turn back, otherwise known as that cross-country service. If the line south to Montrose is blocked, sometimes it is.
This is a safety please stay well back on the platform edge.
But on the first anniversary of the station reopening, it almost got double what it had the first year, so that was pretty incredible. It was really impressive. But overall, this station is it was actually campaigned to reopen this, and it was successful. But yeah, it was massively campaigned to have this station serve an area or just serve the town, and they did it. And that's a pure example of a station that successfully got campaigned to be reopened. Laurencekirk is an example of a success of that. I know loads of people campaign for loads of stations to be open, but some of them don't get as much recognition or even petition signatures as much as Laurencekirk probably did. Many people who come here apparently commute to Dyce and Aberdeen, so it's quite useful. Montrose as well and onwards. So it's also very handy that services to Edinburgh and Glasgow do call here in the morning and evening. So yeah, 2117 will be a Glasgow Queen Street service. But for now, we're going to cross over, and yeah, that's fun facts about Laurencekirk. That just set a dog off. Well done, HST. Anyway, there one goes. That is a service from Aberdeen to Edinburgh, and as far, just to add to the fun, it tones. That's pretty cool at this time of night. It's very echoey, so it just went down a valley probably.
Yeah.
That is heading over to Edinburgh from Aberdeen, and probably one of the last services from Aberdeen going south tonight. And that squeaky noise was a semaphore signal, just letting you know. But yeah, that one goes. I'll get the numbers in a minute. Right, passing through now is an LNER service to Aberdeen from London King's Cross. (800 113). So there, that one goes. Pretty cool, eh?
That leaves us with one more.
Does, right. That HST that we saw go past, I can now tell you is, if I catch my breath, there we go, 43003 and 43125. So there they go. Can you hear that? It's coming through. You could hear that from a distance at least. 43135 was at the rear of it, and the front of it, God knows, because it was quite dark. But yeah, actually I'll very quickly find out, because We've filmed, I think, at least 11 HSTs today, so that's been a positive. But yeah, that was what, Glasgow, Aberdeen. It was 43, 130 and 135 that just went through, heading to Aberdeen from Glasgow Queen Street. And as that one goes through, it's time to conclude today's video from Aberdeenshire and Moray here. So thanks for watching today's video from Aberdeenshire and Moray. I'm just going to call it Aberdeenshire though, because that was the original plan. It's mostly Aberdeenshire. It's just the 3 that were in Moray. So if you have liked what you've seen, please do like and subscribe and leave any comments, because I'll get back to them as and when I can. And any recommendations are welcome, so please do leave us in the comments as well. So joining today, David's Travels.
Hello.
We've had a very, I think the focus camera on you. There you are. So we've had a really good day. So I'm going to ask David very quickly what his top 5 were, because we've made up a top 5 of what our favourite stations were today. Yes. What was yours?
So in first place, Inch.
Yeah.
Second, Stonehaven. Third, Aberdeen. Fourth, Elgin. And then fifth, Laurencekirk, where we are now.
There we go. My top 5 are as good as it goes. Number 5 for me was Keith. I absolutely loved Keith. One platform station. 4th was here, Laurencekirk. Really enjoyed it for the time we have had here. 3rd place for me is pretty much the same as David, Aberdeen. I put Aberdeen in 3rd. 2nd place for me, I've actually swapped them round for David's one. So Inch was 2nd for me, and Stonehaven was my number 1. So yes, I love Stonehaven so much. It was a really good station, and it just felt right and very poignant to go back there, and especially after what happened. But I know, like, you go back there anyway, but that was the first time that I've been back there since it happened, and I think David's first time overall being there. So, you know, it kind of feels different. It's got a different feeling to it going back there now compared to what it was before everything happened. Anyway, I digress. Today has been incredible. Every single bit of today has been incredible. There's not been a bad bit about today. Yeah. And I think both of us agree that this is probably a highlight of this year. It's been incredible. We've loved every second, and it's nice to have a trip, just 2 of us. I love the groups, and you know, the groups that come with, it's fun. I think also equally as fun is when it's just 2 people, but either way, you know, as long as the trip's fun, it doesn't really matter who's there and who's not. It's fun. So the next episode of Every Platform, we will be back in England. However, I've now got a 2-week break. The RMT Union and ASLEF have announced more strikes. By the time this video is out, the strikes will probably still be happening. So I shall see you all for the next episode of Every Platform, which is in October, from Midland Main Line South, where we will be covering the rest of that Midland Main Line bit. So for now, go guys, from Laurencekirk and from Aberdeenshire and from me and David,
I'll be back.
You will be back very soon, and so will I, always. Sorry. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.